And hello there, morons. It is Victor, and it's 12:48 a.m. on a Monday night, December 1st. I started a new month. You know, I'm one of those people who every month he tells himself, this month it's going to be different. This month you're going to pump iron. I got my weights over there. I can't show you because I'm filming right now. I'm going to pump some iron out, and I'm going to do push-ups every day and sit-ups, and I'm going to get in shape, and I'm going to eat right, and I'm going to drink less, and smile more, and all that stuff. And usually I don't. Actually, I haven't even tried the last few months. I've just been so busy. But this month, December 1st, I am trying again. So we'll see. Shut up. I'm trying to make a video here. Anyway, tonight I'm doing a laundry video. It's been a while since I've done these. For anyone who's been following the channel, a little update before I get into the meat of this video. And for those of you who don't know, a laundry video is just a video that you don't really need to watch. And I always goof that up. I don't know why. You don't need to watch it. I don't know why I'm even looking at you. Why am I looking at you? Why am I looking at you? You don't need to watch it. Just listen. And as I go ramble on as answering your questions or talking about whatever comes across my two brain cells that I rub together furiously for this orgasmic session. Friction, 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 orgasm. One of my favorite stupid jokes. Okay, so let's get to it. Is this working? Yes, okay. Yes, so as you know, if you've been following this channel, I started up a Patreon about a week and a half ago, and I've got certain goals on there. I honestly don't. They give you these ideas. You should do it this way and that way. And one of the reasons I'll explain again, as I did in my little Patreon video, one of the reasons I held off doing this is because I didn't want to do something that was kind of exclusive, like, if you don't give me money, I'm not going to make videos, because it's never going to be like that. I mean, I actually did not make many videos last week, and it I won't say it pains me, but damn, work got in the way. And I do like my job, don't get me wrong, I do like my job, but I guess I'm preparing for this new phase in my life, and I'm not panicking or anything. I think if anything, my wife is more worried than I am. But for those of you who don't know, my wife is pregnant, and it's my first. And it's the reason this is happening so late in my life is two reasons. Number one is I never really planned to get married. I was too busy being the Julian Blanc of my generation. Of course, not really. I was never that bad. But I was busy. I was busy. So, but when I met my wife, I never intended to marry her. I never intended to marry anyone. I planned to be. Isn't that a terrible thing to say? No, but it's true, and she knew that. But in the end, it was me. It wasn't like a you better marry me kind of thing. No, I decided that I was and am. And plan to be happy with her. And it goes on and on. There's a whole bunch of other reasons behind it. One of the reasons is she liked Maggie, to be honest. No, you see someone in the way they interact with other people, and in this case, one of the other people was my dog. Was my dog. And how I kind of saw that we were a family, even though we weren't quite. So we got married, and that was quite late in life because, like I said, I never intended to get married. She fortunately enough, is much younger than I am. So, the baby thing was never really an issue. Except, we took our time, we wanted to enjoy our married life before having one of those anchors come down, one of those baby anchors, because, it's worse than a dog, right? You can't, well, I don't know. You can't take a dog anywhere, so kind of limited traveling a little bit. We always, her parents often took care of the kid. But the kid's even worse, right? At least in the beginning, you can't really go anywhere. You can't even go anywhere now. She's pregnant. And I was just thinking today I was going to surprise her with tickets to Seoul or something, somewhere close by. It's cheap, really cheap. And, because once the baby comes, can't go anywhere. But then I thought, she can't fly. What am I thinking? That's ridiculous. I'm a moron. Of course, you guys already know that. So, back to this Patreon thing. So, she's got a full-time job now. And this is stuff I didn't really go into that 2-minute, sales pitch that I had to make for Patreon. They said, keep it under 2 minutes, And yeah, I didn't. I guess we're a little bit worried. 'Cause she's got a really good job. I know, not me. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. But she's a little worried. Because we've never gone without two. We've been dinks. Dinks is something they say in Japan. Dinks is double income, no kids. DINKS. What's the S stand for? Maybe just dink. Double income, no kids. Psych. No, I don't know what the S is for. Maybe they just say dinks, but maybe it's really actually only a dink. Double income, no kids, suckers. Not, it should be couple, right? It could be married couple, but whatever. Anyway, so we've been dinks for a while, and now that's coming to an end. So in February, the kid is due, and the kid was kicking a lot this evening. She's sitting on the couch watching TV, and she said she's holding her iPad like on her stomach. Well, you can't. It doesn't matter. Imagine. It doesn't matter. You're not supposed to be watching this. Don't watch. She was sitting on the couch, holding the iPad on her, propped up on her belly, and she said, and the iPad would move. The kid was kicking, and I'm like, you keep kicking your mommy, I'm gonna kick you back, But of course, that's just a silly joke. So yeah, the kid's kicking. So the kid's due in February, and I guess she's gonna have to. Yeah. So today at work, they brought in a part. I guess a they call him Hakken Sha, maybe Hakken Sha. It's a part timer on a temp agent sent this part timer. Not a part timer. I guess it's a full timer, but it's a temp worker who will be taking over, which means that I don't know what she's told them. I mean, we've gone through this over and over. Like, she's like, "Can I quit my job?" And I don't know why she even asked me. I think she's looking for reassurance. I'm like, "Honey, I said, we've had this conversation. Of course you can quit. You can do whatever you want. We're equal. If you want to quit your job, quit your job." And I guess she hasn't told them she's quitting her job, or maybe she's not sure she's quitting her job, and she hasn't told me. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't believe in this YouTube thing. Because I'm doing really well. Well, I'm doing pretty well. I could put all that, considering I'm a 47-year-old man. Yeah, I'm doing pretty damn well. I've got a few channels, as you guys know. Give Me a Break Man, Give Me a Flake Man, Japanese for Morons, Action Teacher, blah blah. I don't make videos very much on the other channels just because I'm so busy right now. But the Patreon thing is, I got to say, we started that up in the hopes that it would kind of, I guess, subsidize this lifestyle, truly, because and I really had a lot of qualms. A lot of qualms, is that the expression? I had a lot of trouble coming to terms with the fact that I was going to do it. It seemed like everyone was doing it. I mean, if you go look on that site, like all these huge YouTubers and people actually much smaller than I am are doing it and doing very well. The fans are really supportive, and I've said this time and again, I do not like saying that, but reading the Patreon information, your fans, you guys, not I'm just talking about their fans. Okay, you're not my fans. You're my friends. You guys are my ears. You're my moron army. You're my if you're watching this, especially if you're 8 minutes and 47 seconds in, and I haven't really said anything yet. You're the people who really support me just by watching the videos, right? So because in the past I've been very vocally against e-begging and people who ask for things, and you got to work hard, and but at the same time, I'm working really hard. Like today I did 8.5 hours of teaching. I mean teaching, and it's that catch-22 situation with me. If I stop teaching and just dedicate fully to YouTube, I'm going to lose a lot of income really quickly, suddenly, for a few months until I find the audience to build up, until I build up my YouTube channel to the size where it can actually support and replace my real job, my day job, right? But the other thing is I like teaching. I really do. And I would feel guilty if I just dumped my students and said, "Hey guys, I'm going to go make videos now for, instead of teaching you, because they're doing so well. My students are really improving. I have a student that's been with me, I think 13 years now, and she's a middle-aged woman, and she's really nice, and she's getting she's improving. And I would hate to say, hey Yoshiko, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to teach you anymore because for whatever reason. Um, so that's what I mean by stuck between a rock and a hard place. And I'm not trying to be whiny or anything. I mean, so I thought, how can I do this Patreon thing without being a beggar? So what I did was I looked at it and I thought, what can I do that improves on it? As in, I'm already making the videos for you guys regardless, right? This is my goal, to make these videos. I like making these videos. This is as much a pleasure for me as it is for a lot of you guys. I guess that, I don't know. Who knows? I can't really judge. I don't know what you guys think, of course. But I like making the videos. So I looked at the Patreon page, and if you don't know what it is, go take a look at it. But it's basically a page that allows you to reward people who help out. But instead of that, I thought, and a lot of people make it exclusive. Like, okay, and a lot of other Patreon people, like, they threaten you, like, if you don't help me, I'm just gonna stop making videos, or I'm only gonna, you're only gonna get certain videos if you pay. So I don't want to do anything exclusive, though. I mean, I don't want to change what's happening on YouTube. My wife. Hope my wife didn't wake up. Don't wake up, baby. Don't wake up. So I don't want to change the way I'm doing things on YouTube. So I haven't, as much as I've tried my best not to. Yeah, well, I haven't. The only thing I have changed is I'm delaying videos 24 hours. So patrons, and I'm going to lower that. I don't remember what the reward is, but I think it's like $20 or something. You have to be a $20 member or whatever, patron, and then you get the videos 24 hours ahead of time. And there's other things, like you get enrolled automatically into this lottery, and I'll give away like a really nice. I don't know if you can see back there. You can't really see, but there's these boxes that I will send once a month, because they're really nice. The insides are old Japanese antiques that I got from Kurt, Softy Papa, and some of the stuff are kind of new, some kind of old. And even when that stuff's never going to run out. I have so much of it, and I actually go around and look and find things in stores even now and say, oh, this is cool. I want to give this away, someday. Like this thing. Like this thing, I don't think I got from him, but it's a cool fan, isn't it? So I thought I'll put this in a box, right? Well, this is one of these, like that, and I'll probably give that away too. Yay! So, another bonus. Those are things that I don't give away to people just watching my channel. But if you support on Patreon, I'll give you that, or I'll give you a T-shirt, for example. Where is it? I have no idea. Well, now you have to look. If you're not looking, come back to your TV for a second, or your computer. And look. These are the Moran Army T-shirts. And we're actually going to be releasing a new version every month or so. Not just Moran Army, but other stuff. So there's a certain category where you'll get a free T-shirt every 2 months, and you get to support me. So I mean, that sounds like an arrogant thing to say, and I do admit that, but I'm willing to give back. So certain people in the past have asked me to talk to them on Skype, and I've said, no, I really can't. And they're like, come on, I'll pay you. And I'm like, well, I do charge for lessons. Okay, I'll do it. And people have asked me to make videos, and I've never charged for those. But I mean, it takes time. I got to make a video for them. They've asked me for videos for their friend's birthday, or for I got one for an anniversary, or one for an intro for school. Just an introduction. Or other YouTubers have asked me, and I've never charged. And of course, I wouldn't. And to be honest, I wouldn't charge for any of this if you asked me really, really nicely and bugged me. But with the Patreon thing, I'm basically obligated to do it within a certain time, that does help you too. So then you know I'm going to do it. But I don't overextend myself. So like, there's only a certain amount of those open, right? There's only a certain amount of those available. So anyway, so yeah. So far though, the results, feedback has been great. You guys have been really supportive, and yesterday, actually just a few hours ago, we reached our $1,000 goal, which means I am able to buy this GoPro camera. So you might think, well, these don't cost that much. Yeah, these cost in Japan. They cost about $600 to $700. But with that money, I'm going to be able to travel to cool places and film a 4K video using this little baby. It's a 4K. And if I get up to $1,500, I'll get a proper 4K SLR or video camera, whatever. I'm not sure which one yet, but I'll get a proper 4K camera, so these will be better. The camera I'm using now is an SLR, and I had to use a magic, what's it called? Some kind of hack to turn down the, turn off the something on the mic, because the mic was, every time I recorded, there was this buzzing, psst, psst, the whole time. It was just so annoying. I did figure out a way around it, but I had to download the music, download the video, separate the music, use audio, I don't know what I'm talking, what's it called, audio something, it's Audacity, to remove the buzz and then re-edit it, so it's, it's extra time. Now, and not to, just so you guys know, I'm not like a fucking cheapskate. I've spent, like this computer that I'm using right now that I'm pointing at, which you cannot see, cost me over $4,000. It's the top of the line iMac. And I know a lot of you guys, oh, you should have spent so much on a Mac. I don't know how to use a Windows thing. And this has got everything I need. That would be like another 2 months of like learning curve just to figure out what the hell to do with Windows. And I really don't want to deal with viruses and shit. I mean, that for me is like terror. I can't imagine how you guys put up with that shit. I got a virus, everything is screwed up now. No, so I like the Macs. I use the Macs. I've been using them since 1984. Old dogs can't learn new tricks. I do learn. I do use Windows sometimes at certain when I go to my company jobs. But the Mac is made for this. It's made for this. This is a huge 3 terabyte. I forgot what kind of drive. It's the best iMac you can buy, 27-inch and everything. Now this is, unfortunately, as soon as I bought this, they came out with a goddamn 5K screen, which would have cost another 100,000 yen. Or $1,000. So this is fine. This is fine. So what I'm saying is I put a lot of my own money into this too. It's not like I'm being, just give me stuff. No. But I really do appreciate the help that a lot of you guys have given me, and I really do appreciate that. This is the beginning of the month, so I will be kind of tweaking the rewards. And if you guys get any ideas about what kind of rewards you want, let me know, and I'll be happy to give them to you. I don't mean to make this video into a long, Patreon thing or speech or anything. I'm just kind of trying to explain to you guys why I started doing this. I'm hoping that if I can raise a bit more, I can hire someone to take off some of the load of teaching, some of the teaching hours off me, so I can spend more time on this. And I've actually invested in even classes for Final Cut Pro, a teacher, to improve this stuff. So little by little, anyway, because I'm pretty exhausted, but I do love making these things. Anyway, and I've seen that a lot of other people have started to as well. Q Ranger started one just after I did, and I'm not. This is kind of funny. Regan from Japan with Regan started his up, and he knew. I mean, he started his. I'm pretty sure he started his because he knew I was starting up mine. But he was just quicker, he just started up. So I know, and I'm supporting him too, and I'm supporting both those guys, and Busan Kevin too. I'm supporting him too. So it's not like it's not like I'm like give me. I think it's important to support other people, and I've supported a lot of people in the past, by buying their books. Where's that guy's book? It's at school. Bay McDeal, who writes, Loco and Yokohama, and of course, Kat McDowell and Sayuli Music. I think it's really important to support artists, right? So, and we've been pushing. I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, but Ami Yamamoto, who does the anime blogs, I think she's incredibly talented. I think anyone who has talent and who wants to pursue it, and finds people who want to help them, should try it. Now a lot of you, I think one of the reasons I appeal to people is that because this looks like something anybody can do, and it is something anyone can do, but not everyone does it. So a lot of you watch me with, I think you watch me because you think, hey, I'm like that guy in some way, as in, not incredibly handsome, not incredibly intelligent. I'm just kind of an honest guy, and I'm making these videos, and a lot of you, I think, I'm guessing, and if there's another reason, you can tell me in the comments. But I'm guessing you watch me because I'm approachable. And to be honest, I think it's always been a reason I did well with women. I'm not trying to be arrogant about this. Is that I think a lot of women thought, hey, he's not too good looking or out of my league or something, and he's approachable. Like I'm never like I've never been stuck up, right? So so that's good. Though there are some people who assume I'm stuck up because they assume that I think about certain things that they think about when they look at me, like subscribers. Oh my God, you're almost 100,000 subscribers on this channel. Um, yeah, but that's a lot of hard work. It's 8 years of work. A lot of people can get 100,000 in just a few months. So it's basically that. Anyway, am I ever going to get to the answer, the question? Let's do it right now. So to get to the question. Oh, and by the way, for Patreon people, if you guys have a question and you mention that you're a Patreon person, I will prioritize your question. But that does not mean I will ignore other people. For example, this young lady Bianca, who I hope she doesn't mind me telling her first. I'll just say her first name, Bianca. I don't even know if it's a real name, but is that a real name? Bianca. Okay, so this young lady Bianca has written me. Literally, this email I'm reading now is called Fifth Sending. Okay, and I think it's actually the sixth time. And I've had some interaction with her before, but she's been asking me about selling food in Japan, and she wants to know about that. Oh, seventh sending. Oh my God. So she started sending back in October. And she's been really pushy in a good way, and which is great. So she sent 7 times now. I think once on YouTube, and she wants to know about being self-employed in Japan. So this is the question. I'm going to read it to you guys, and I'll interrupt myself and tell you what I think. So she says, if you don't mind me asking, and I hope this hasn't been asked a million times already, but how viable would it be to sell food in Japan? Okay. Something like a small corner street stand, or even selling in the neighborhood you live in or a nearby town. Is there any licenses or permissions required to sell as a small-time street market or vendor? In the USA, there generally is, but in many neighborhoods there will be a household or two selling cakes or frozen drinks or whatnot, essentially under the table, and it's not really illegal or punishable as far as I know. Is the same true in Japanese neighborhoods and communities? Yes, generally speaking, but I talked to a woman yesterday who, in my neighborhood in work, not really my neighborhood, my work neighborhood, which is in the center of town, you can walk around at lunchtime, right around lunchtime, and there are bento stands all over the place. What a bento stand is basically someone just put up a table, often put up an umbrella. For example, today it was raining, so they had their umbrella up. Then they have a bunch of bentos lying on the table, right? And each one is anywhere from, I think the cheapest I've seen is maybe 200 yen. And the most expensive is maybe 380. And they're basically, what you buy those plastic trays that have the kind of separation area, so you can put food in them in certain areas. You can put rice here, and I get some vegetables here, some meat over here, and some plums over there. So they sell those kinds of bentos, and not all of them are that way. Some of them are much simpler. Some of them are just rice with like meat on top, like some stir-fried meat or something. They're all different. But generally, they're less than 400 yen. Okay, generally speaking, I'm sure there's some nicer ones for 500, but basically they're fairly inexpensive. And businessmen will walk by, and OLs, and even I sometimes will stop by and take one. Now, some of the people are Chinese or from other countries, usually eastern part of Europe. Asia, like I don't know, Thailand or something. And I've heard of people in the past who they'll get up early and they'll make a bunch of bentos, and that's how they make a living. And it's a pretty good deal. Imagine, let's say you sell each bento at 300 yen each, which is probably a little more. Let's say 250, okay? But then we got to do harder math. So 250, and it costs you about, let's say it costs you half, right? It costs you half per meal to make, like 125. So you sell 10, that's 200, that's 2,500. You make 1,250, $12 if you sell 10. But if you sell like 100, right, that's $120. Is that right? Yeah. So it can be profitable if you make a bunch in one day. You get up early, you make a bunch. I think you'd probably make a little more than that. But let's get back to the question. So I've seen those kind of people. A lot of them are are immigrants. I'm pretty sure they're doing it illegal. I've heard that if you have stands on city streets, you have to either pay the mafia, like there'll be a guy that comes around and say, "Hey, you want to work here? You got to pay me. This is my corner," kind of thing. I've heard this happens with the Israeli jewelry sellers, who I have not seen so many recently, but in the past they used to have. You'd see like Israelis. They'd come with a suitcase or two, and they'd open them up, and they have all this jewelry, and and they sell the jewelry and stuff. And they've told me that they've, won, and I've heard from other people that they pay off like the local gangster to let them do that. Now, the woman I talked to today said that she has a license, but she didn't get it herself, so she doesn't know the details because she has a partner. But as I was talking to her, a good friend of mine came by. It's actually he's kind of a friend that I've just made on the street. He's a foreigner, an English teacher too, but he's always on his bicycle. And I see him almost every single, no, let's say three times a week. I see him all the time. He's at the end of that video of me catching that bicycle thief, or oh no, purse snatcher. Anyway, he tells me that he's talked to a few, and he assured me that it's okay to put up your stand if you're on the property of a building, and only the building can kick you out, so the police cannot bother you. So from what we were seeing, the woman that I talked to today, she was basically sitting next to the steps of a building, and he was sure that they got permission from that building. So the owners of that building didn't care, or whether they were giving her permission, or they were getting a cut or something. So the question is, can it be done? Yes, it can be done. I mean, people do it all over the place. How exactly it's done, I'm not exactly sure. You got to pay somebody off, or you got to know somebody. And a lot of Japan, it's just connections. You really got to know people, and that's pretty much true anywhere, right? Now, that's the short of that. Selling in your neighborhood. What else have I heard? There are people who walk around selling like manju at certain times of the year, and they're like kind of expensive. I've seen them, and they're like yogurt people. So a lot of people walking around they have their bicycles with their little coolers attached to them, and they sell that stuff. They're like pretty much everywhere, but it depends on the time of year. I've never seen a cop stop them, but I also noticed that they have tags on them, which implies that they have some kind of license. That might be for us. I've also seen people come to my door and knock on the door with a bunch of fruit and say, "Hey, do you want to buy some fruit?" And that's happened quite a few times. And often the fruit is really good, and I've often purchased the fruit. It's usually young guys. Young guys that look like almost look like they're putting themselves through school this way. But it happens. So yes, it is possible to do that. Now, this woman says, this is the background on the idea. And I'll put, I don't know if I'll put a link in this, maybe I'll put a link in the description or something, but I really enjoy growing fruits and vegetables and am familiar with climate-controlled indoor gardens. Okay, sounds like marijuana. I have heard land is extremely expensive in Japan, so indoors would be a very doable method. I've even grown a few square watermelons before. That's cool. Square or heart-shaped watermelons are the big deal in Japan recently. I also enjoy baking and make a number of different cakes and custards. I make a ridiculous cheesecake. I'm getting hungry. Would baking these things with the intent to sell be easy enough to do? It can be done, though I'm not sure exactly how. Here's the problem that I told her. Okay, I'll finish the question. I be able to sustain myself if I had a part-time job while doing this? Not sure how hard it is to get a full-time job there. After a while, well, yeah. So is it sustainable? Let's see. I prefer to live with as few material possessions as possible. I don't really go out to eat very often or watch TV, so my cost of living might not be quite as high as some. I can also make candy bars from scratch. That's pretty interesting. I like to taste one of those. As well as my own homemade wines. Wow. And I'm sure I almost want to hire you myself. And I'm sure asking about these specific foods because I've seen many examples of fruits and certain rich, decadent baked goods selling for much higher prices in Japan than they do in the USA. It's true. Like even donuts, man, they'll go like $2 sometimes, or they're really expensive. Like, a lot of the stuff crazy. $5 for a little cake. It's nuts. So anyway, and I'm really sorry that it took me 2 months to answer your question, but I've got the list is long. You're not even. There's actually people probably ahead of you. You just were so pushy that I'm answering your question. So yeah, here's the problem. Here's your problem. You got to get into the country and you got to get a visa. Okay. Now I did mention that to her, and I think she ended up telling me that she had talked to another. There's some kind of program here that I've. She told me about this. Where the hell is it? Let's see if I can find it. She sent me the same thing so many times. Yeah, there's one of her mails though. Where is it? Oh, oh, here's a nice mail. Oh, she sent the same one again. Hold on. There's another one here. She talks about a certain system here in Japan that I have heard of where. Just a second. Yeah. Okay. First of all, having a TV doesn't cost much, so I don't see how that really defers your cost of living. I mean, except you buy a TV once and that's it. Now you got to get a visa. So there are some programs. I guess you mentioned some program, Bianca, that I can't find anymore. But it's kind of and I mentioned it before. There's some kind of program here in Japan where you can actually get into the country and help on a farm or something. If someone remembers what that is, please put it in the description. I mean, in the comments. I'm sure people will. I'll remember. I'll say, yeah, that's it. If I remember, I'll put it in the description right away. There's a link to it. So I don't remember what that is, and I can't seem to find it in her mail here. Though I'm looking right now. It's just she sent so many mails. Where the hell is it? Okay, so she says she seems to think that she can get into the country on some certain visa with some company's going to help her. You can work on a farm in Japan. It starts with a W. Wolful. Damn it, I can't remember. But there's some kind of program where you can come to Japan and work on a farm as kind of a volunteer. Now, I don't think you can get a visa on that, but I vaguely remember you writing about that and telling me that you could get a visa. So I don't know where that information. It's really windy outside. I hope this is not. It's like super windy outside. It was raining all day. It's supposed to be cold, really cold tomorrow. So anyway, I can't find the information, but apparently you think that you can get a visa that way, and if you can, then that's basically your biggest problem. Okay, you got to get the visa. If you get a visa, then it's got to be a full-time job usually, because that's the only reason anyone would sponsor you, or you got to get married. So that's the easy way. Well, easy. If you're lucky, if you can get married, that'd be the easiest way, I guess. Except getting married stuff, at least for me. As in, I didn't want to at first. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. I mean, you can't just like, oh, I need a wife or a husband to get a job. It seems kind of strange to me, but to do that. But you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I need to go to Japan, so I need to find a husband. It seems really difficult to me. However, you could probably find a job teaching full-time. Part-time wouldn't help you because it wouldn't get you the visa. The other options are becoming a Japanese student, which would work, but you also technically need permission from the school to get a part-time job. However, if you did something like this, you'd be kind of self-employed, so you wouldn't need a part-time job. Now, let's say that you're able to somehow get into the country and get your job and find enough time on the side to create a kind of food selling business, either a stall on the street or going door to door selling fruits or whatever you want to do, or your cakes. Let's say you got that far. Okay. After a year or so, if you could prove that you were making enough money by doing this, you would have to start filing taxes and show the government that you were making enough money to self-employ yourself. Now, it's called self-sponsorship, and I did it before too. What you do it's called self-sponsor your visa, a self-sponsor visa. And what you do is present to the immigration contracts that prove that you have mini contracts, like even just private. Like that's what I did. I think I had like 4 or 5 privates, and I had one job with a school maybe. And I was able to show them that I had enough income to support myself. And they let me self-sponsor. I think in those days you could only do it for 1 year. And I think the next year I might have self-sponsored. I might have renewed it, or I might have gotten a good full-time job that would agree to sponsor me. So that took care of that. Eventually, the laws or the policies changed, and 1-year visas turned into 3-year visas. So that was good. So I got 3-year visas, right? And then I got married, but I still ended up opening my own school. So I, with a Japanese partner, Yukari, who you guys have, who does the Maggie Sensei blog, by the way, which is very, very popular. And if you want to learn Japanese, go check out Maggie Sensei. Okay. And then, she did the paperwork, and we used our school that we have to sponsor myself. So that's also kind of self-sponsorship. And then eventually I got married, and now I got a spousal visa. And then I ended up getting my permanent residency. So now I don't need anybody. I could get divorced tomorrow and lose my job, become homeless, and I still wouldn't be able to get kicked out of the country. So I guess I could do this job, except I can't cook. Yeah. So here's I want to leave you with this. Okay. If you've seen another person do it, then you can do it. It's doable. I've met people who are who have the strangest jobs then they're like the only foreigner. For example, Softy Papa, he became an antique dealer, and you see very few foreigners doing that. I know another guy in California married one of my ex-students, who he also comes to Japan and bids in auctions, and he's the only foreigner, usually, most of the time. There are many foreigners actually, who sell used cars here. They come over here. They somehow get into the car auctioning, whatever you call market. They're able to get a license to go in there because you need permission. You can't just go in there and start bidding, and or maybe you can, but I don't know. Maybe you just need a lot of money to buy used cars. But they'll buy a bunch of used cars, and then they'll ship them to their countries or other countries. And you've got a business, right? I know a company that actually employs Africans, and they ship cars back to Africa. I don't know what part of Africa, but isn't it just one country? I'm American. I think Africa is a really big country. So there's anything. That's my point. If another man can do it, if another human being can do it, then you can do it. So if that is your dream, then do it. But you have to put in the work. It might be more difficult for you. Getting connections is important. Try to meet people. Try to get people to introduce people to you. And eventually you will be able to do it. But it does take time. It does take energy. And that's all I got to say about that. Sorry it took so long to answer. This is the longest goddamn laundry video I've done, I think, maybe. But thanks for watching, guys. I think I'm going to call it a night. Oh, nice. One more video I got to put out. Maybe I'll upload that one first. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for watching, everyone. I appreciate it. Thanks. Good night. Oh, and live long! Oh, no, that wasn't it. Live large! That was it. Live large. Oh, God, I screwed the whole thing up.